In this video, we're going over the top 10 coins to retire from, and a lot of them have an incredibly small detail that you need to look at to see if you have one of these coins that could potentially change your life. Now look, I'm just gonna hop right into this video. So if you look at this Washington quarter right here, this exact coin sold for $82,250, and here's why. So I want you to look on the back bottom center of the coin. You're going to see a small little D mint mark. Now that mint mark means that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Now these Washington quarters will either have a D mint mark, an S mint mark for the San Francisco Mint, a P mint mark for the Philadelphia Mint, or a W mint mark for the West Point Mint. Now that is very important to understand. Another thing is sometimes if your coin has no mint mark at all, that means it was potentially struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but more on that later. Depending on how many coins were produced for a specific mint run will dictate how much demand there is for that specific coin. So I'm telling you this because this 1932 quarter was graded by a third-party company called PCGS at a mint state 66. What you need to know is that 70 is the highest grade and this one's at 66. So it's getting close, but it's not quite at the perfect grade. Now achieving the 70 grade is very, very, very challenging to do, especially on a coin that is this old. Speaking of how old this coin is, 1932 was the first year the US Mint ever produced these Washington quarters. Here's a good rule of thumb. The older your coin is, the better the condition and the more money it's generally going to be worth. Now you want to make sure if you find this coin that you get the full value and you don't get scammed or ripped off. I'm going to go over this coin very quickly, but this one sold for $89,125. It's nearly the same exact coin except this one has some toning or color on it. Very briefly, toning happens when the air will oxidize with the metals in the coin, leaving this color, and depending on the collector that's collecting the coin, toning can either positively or negatively impact the value based on what the collector is going for. Some collectors love toning, some hate it. I know collectors that will not touch toned coins, and then I also know collectors that only collect this sort of toning. So understand this, if the toning does not look good, the color of the coin, then it can negatively impact the value of the coin. Another very important topic is the condition. If you have a toned coin, but the condition is really bad, then it doesn't really matter. Toned coins only really matter on the high graded coins. Last thing I'm going to say on this one is when the coins are sold, you need to be selling your coins at a market high. If you sell your coin at a market low, you're simply going to get less money. I'll spend 10 seconds on this one, but this coin sold for $7,200,000. Take a picture of this, save it. If you ever come across a coin like this, even if it's not in this good a condition, you found an incredibly rare coin. Again, this one sold for $7.2 million. This Roosevelt dime sold for $456,000, and here's why. This is a 1975 10-cent Roosevelt dime that was graded by PCGS a proof 68. Remember, we said the highest achievable grade in grading is 70, and this one is only 2 points away from that perfect grade. Next, this is a proof coin. Now the way to tell if you have a proof coin is if you look at the backdrop or the field of the coin, you can tell that it is shiny or lustrous and it looks like a mirror. That's incredibly important for this coin as to why it sold for so much money. Now, proof coins are not always going to be worth more money unless it has this feature right here, so pay attention. So this 1975 Roosevelt dime should have an S mint mark around the date. If it does not, and it is a proof coin, then you found a very rare coin. Now, understand this. There is a coin from the Philadelphia Mint that looks just like this and is worth only 10 cents. So essentially, this coin should have an S mint mark, but it does not. And remember, most Philadelphia minted coins do not have the mint mark. So that's where the confusion comes in. And on top of that, you can have some bad people out there that will try to polish the background of these coins to make them appear to be the super rare no S mint mark variety of the coin. This is a mint error. It should have never happened, but it allowed this coin to sell for $456,000. Wow, look at this coin. So this 1938D 5-cent Jefferson nickel was graded by PCGS a mint state 68 plus with the full steps on the back. And it sold for $33,600, and let's break down why it sold for so much money. The first thing you'll notice is the color. Now, the color is caused from the air and reacting with the metals in the coin. Again, this is called toning, and it positively impacted the value of this coin because it's in a high grade and the toning looks good. Next, if we flip that coin over and look on the back center of the coin, you will see the full steps above Monticello. Now, the full steps, similar to the toning, toning only really matter on high-graded, uncirculated conditioned coins. If you have the full steps on a low-grade coin, it does not really matter, unfortunately. But if you have this coin in this high of a grade, it's going to bring a lot of money. And as well, after the grade, you can see a small little plus designation. That's really up to the grader. But if the grader thinks the coin looks really nice for the grade, but it can't quite get to the next level up, they will sometimes add a plus designation. And that's important because that one little plus sign, as silly as it sounds, will increase the value of the coin. All these things combined allowed it to sell for $33,600. One of my favorite types of coins here, this one sold for $126,500, and this is why. This is a 1969S 1 cent double die obverse coin graded by PCGS, a mint state 64 red. Let's break this coin down. So first of all, I'm going to notice the little blemish on the left hand side of the coin. That's a little bit of toning. It's completely natural, and it still allowed the coin to grade very highly. Next, PCGS designated this coin as a red. Now I'm going to throw up a diagram. Essentially, when the coins are first being produced, they all start out as red. This is the natural mint state color the coins were produced in. Over time, sometimes the coins will change color and turn into red brown or brown coins. Now this can dictate values somewhat, but it's not entirely important, as you'll see with the last coin in this video. But on this specific coin, it definitely helped it out. So in an ideal world, if you could have a red coin, I would pick the red coin because most of the time it will bring more money. Next, this is a doubled die obverse. So obverse means the front of the coin and reverse means the back of the coin. So the obverse or front of this coin has some pretty apparent doubling occurring, as you can see on the bottom right there on the date, Liberty at the left and In God We Trust at the top there. This is a mint error that occurs during the minting process. 1969 is an iconic year for the doubling. Typically, when you see doubling occurring this dramatically on a coin, it will get a collector's attention and they will want to pay more money. Combine that with the fact of a mint state 64 grade. All of these things combined allowed this one little penny to sell for $126,500. Another one of my favorite types of coins, this is a 1909 wheat penny. Now this one sold for $258,500, and this is why. I always like getting the elephant out of the room, and the elephant is that color. That is an extremely toned coin. As we know, toning happens from the air and the metals when they react. This one was graded by PCGS as a Proof 67 plus. Now I'm going to break down every piece of why this coin is sold for so much money. The first thing you want to look at is if you flip the coin over and look on the back bottom center of the coin, you're going to see the initials of VDB. Those initials stand for Victor David Brenner, and this person was the initial engraver and designer of this coin. Not all 1909 wheat pennies will have that, so keep an eye out there. Next, it is important to know that 1909 was the first year they ever produced the wheat penny. Next, this got the red and brown designation. As you heard from my previous example, ideally we want to have the red color. But on the other spectrum of that, there are some collectors that will collect, for example, this coin, a 1909 VDB, in red, red brown, and brown. So they will collect all three different types. But again, generally speaking, the red coins will bring more money. Next, this has a CAC sticker. So CAC is a third-party company that after you get your coin graded, we send off the coin to CAC and they will consider putting the sticker on the holder. Now, the majority of the time, if you get the sticker on your holder, it will be a green sticker. Now, very rarely you will get a gold sticker. This coin got that gold sticker, and it pretty much means that they think the coin should grade higher. It sounds kind of silly, but these stickers will dramatically increase the value of the coin. Pretty much any high-end coin you need to get sent off to CAC. This coin is also a proof coin. I know there's so much going on with this coin. So proof coins, essentially the background or field of the coin will have a shiny, lustrous, or mirror appearance to it where you can see reflection. Proof coins can bring more money than regularly issued coins, but it's not always the case. This coin right here pretty much has everything going for it, and all of these things allowed it to sell for $258,500. Here's a 1943 coin that sold for $372,000, and here's why. So this coin was graded by PCGS, a mint state 62 brown with a CAC sticker. So again, we know this coin was a brown coin. So initially it was red. You can see a little bit of red there around the edge of Lincoln there, but there's some pretty apparent toning going on this coin. To me, it doesn't have the best toning, but it may be appealing to some people. It also graded relatively low in the uncirculated grade. Typically, you won't see coins at a 60 through 63 unless there are some apparent damage damages happening to the coin. Now you have to remember during the minting process, these coins are getting thrown around and they're hitting each other, up against other coins, damaging the coins, but this is still considered to be uncirculated, never going out into circulation. But old money prices, why did it sell for so much money? Well, this coin was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet. So to keep it brief, during the war efforts, they needed bronze for ammunition. They stopped production of the wheat pennies on the bronze planchets and they transitioned into a zinc-coated steel planchet. So all 1943 pennies should be struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet, but this one accidentally got struck on a bronze planchet, allowing it to sell for $372,000. This coin sold for $408,000, so this is pretty much the reverse of the previous coin. All 1944 pennies should be struck on a bronze planchet, but this one was accidentally struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet. After the war, they wanted it to transition from zinc back to bronze. This was one of those coins that should not have been struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet, but because it graded at a PCGS Mint State 66 and it has a CAC sticker, this 1944S 1 cent coin sold for $408,000. Not going to spend a ton of time here, but this is essentially a 1943 D 1 cent coin that was struck on a bronze planchet. Now that D mint mark, as we know, stands for the Denver Mint. This coin graded higher than the previous 1943 bronze coin we talked about. This again is at a PCGS Mint State 64 brown. Now it's really hard to get this coin in the red or red brown condition for whatever reason. Now if it would have gotten red, I can nearly guarantee that it would have brought more money than $840,000, which is life-changing money for anyone. Listen, if you thought this video was helpful, make sure you share it with someone who could benefit from it. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel because there's a lot more videos on the channel. I will see you in the next one.